Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be remaking one of my first Lego movies. Now that you guys have never seen this, I never put it on YouTube. I don't think I had my YouTube channel at that time, but this is one of my first bigger movies that I really planned out, and I was, putting some stop motion techniques into and stuff. It was still one of my first ones, so it's not that great, but it had a good story plot, I guess. So anyway, let's watch the bank robbery. So if you want the original effect of the movie without audio and no explanation, then go ahead and just mute your video and see if you can actually figure out the story plot, because I'm going to explain it as the movie plays in this next part. So here comes the robber in his car. The bank manager gets the money out of the safe, leaves it open, and he goes and gets some coffee. Now when the robber drives up, he looks through the window, sees the bank manager, and then is like, hey, the safe's open. It's like, I'll just get some money. And then it closes on him for whatever weird reason. And then the bank manager comes back as really scared because of the robber there. And the robber takes the opportunity and runs off with the gold. So when he comes back another time, the bank manager gets an idea. And he sneaks in the safe and scares the robber so he doesn't get the gold. So, like I said, this is one of my first movies. There's no backdrop. It's just in my room. The frame rate is weird. And there's no audio or anything. So it's not really that great. But I just like to go through it and point out a couple of things. First of all, the carpet's moving. That's because we're crawling across the carpet to move the car. Me and my sister were working on this. One person would move the car, one person would take a picture. We were actually taking 2 pictures for every frame. Every time we moved the car, it'd be 2 pictures instead of 1. And that was so we could get the right timing. So if the car was driving too fast, we would just use duplicate pictures, which is really bad practice because then it's just going to be kind of jerky. But what happened is sometimes you get a hand in the picture and then you delete it. And then you had only 1 picture instead of 2 pictures because you had to get rid of the bad ones. And so it wasn't consistent. So we had too many frames. I didn't know which ones to delete. And it was just kind of a mess. But moving on, this dollar bill right here comes out of nowhere and then disappears. I also had a gun on the robber here, but it was kind of a waste because you couldn't even see it. And then after a while, I decided it was too hard to keep on. And so I just took it off. And there we were trying a technique, the stretch, so he kind of stretched his body out because he was surprised. The robber actually has a switchable face. That's his scared face. You can't really tell because it's so grainy, but we did switch his face out. Another piece there. So now let's make the new movie. I stuck to pretty much the same story plot, just changing details. Instead of having a safe, I have a whole vault room, so the robber could go in the vault room and not be seen, whereas you'd notice if someone was in a safe. First thing is going to be to build an actual set instead of just filming the movie in my room. So here I've got a front desk and then a white wall, and behind that is a tan wall, and back here is the vault. And then there's also a coffee machine, which it doesn't make sense to have a coffee machine in the same hallway as the vault, because later in the movie, when the robber runs into the vault, the bank manager would have seen him. So I'm actually going to shoot it from a different angle, probably flip the footage or something. So it's kind of confusing and people don't catch on that the coffee machine is in the same hallway, because it's really not supposed to be that way in the movie. That's just how I built it practically. I used 10 FPS and I tried to put a lot more scenes in there so it all made sense. Now, the movie actually ended up being about the same length, which shows you how slow the original shots were. Next, I added some text and some dialogue so everybody knew what was going on. Nobody move! Oh, there's nobody here. Sound effects. And then some music. Nobody move! And now to watch the finished movie, I actually published it as a separate video. So just click the video in the center of the screen, and if for any reason it's not popping up, there's also a link in the description. Whoa!